Hello to whoever's hanging out already. I appreciate you for coming in a little bit early. We'll be going for a few hours, but welcome to the first little Dire Quest stream. I hope that it is going well. It looks good. Let me know if the volumes for anything are kind of crazy or what I gotta change. But I'm just gonna hop right back into the sketches that I was doing. Um, we're gonna be working on some of the designs for the claw and the faction that Aaron's going to be meeting soon. Um, you can see in a little bit there I have uh, some of the inspiration that I've been working with. Say what's up. Thanks for coming to hang out. I appreciate you. Let me know how your Wednesday is going, if I need to turn the volume up on the music or if I'm too loud. All of that is very easily changed. But I'm going to hop back into some of the designs that I was working on for the faction. Um, so I wanted to get a better idea of what exactly we're going to be looking at as we kind of roll into the next little bit for Aaron. So I have all of this stuff here, but I'm just going to kind of wipe the slate clean and give myself a new set of stuff to be looking at. Now, I had said before I cut off the Instagram streams, I don't want to have so many of them that are just like hooded people, because not all of them need to look that way, but I do want to have some that have kind of like these shell masks. I think would be a cool thing to incorporate with like the eyes kind of like punched out. Pull up. And I was also looking at a couple of like some of these the shell designs for these different crustaceans are really like wacky looking. So I think those might be cool to try and like pull into it a little bit. Like a big like helmet almost. Again, I appreciate, whoever's hanging out. Hey, Hunter's here. What's going on, buddy? I appreciate you coming to hang out for a little bit. Yeah, we're hopping right into some more claw design stuff. Again, let me know. I'm not sure how the level sound for the music or any of that good stuff. So let me know if that needs to be tweaked or altered and all that fun stuff. Or if you can hear any music at all. I have it down pretty low, but it might need to be up like raised up just a tiny bit. And then something that I had done with one of the designs before we cut the Instagram off was add like a big shell in the back. Kind of like so. What's going on, Hunter? How's your week been going, bud? We're on Wednesday. We're about halfway through. All of my days are kind of blending together, so hopefully there's something more eventful going on the other side somewhere else. Yeah. I was saying earlier that that when I had originally set the time to schedule the stream for, I had set it for like 1:30 PST, and I don't live on the West Coast. I live on the East Coast, and I intended to send it for EST, and just I'm losing my touch with reality is going very quickly at this point. Oh, beautiful. Well, I'm glad you're able to tune in for a little while. We'll probably go for a couple hours here. I am. I wanted to start earlier, like I just said, but we'll go for a little while and kind of block out a couple different like designs and just chill for a minute. I'd like to be able to do more of these in the future. I finally, figured out a couple of the different like settings and programs that I need to like download for it all to work and as intended. One of the biggest problems was getting my like iPad to stream in a way that looked good because it always come out kind of blurry or um, just not do what I need it to do. But I managed to find a program that is going to help me out. I think it looks good personally. I hope it's coming through clear for everybody else. So I like this guy has like an actual like more bulbous helmet, but I don't really want it to be super like round. I'll just take him, move the second guy over. And we'll chop it up a little bit. I'm excited to start having these guys be a part of, the adventure. I've like thought about them for so long, and I have, there's a dire chest for them, and a lot of like guild members on Patreon have like contributed a bunch of different ideas for this specific faction. So I'm glad that we're finally able to kind of get them incorporated. Let me find some more shell designs. Like I really like the shape of this one, so we'll stick with this for a little bit. Maybe this one kind of chips off. Um, kind of have like a larger version of it kind of pop in the back. I really like the shape of this shell here. Hello, everyone that kind of just hopped back in real quick. And they all kind of have like a pretty wide fan on the back of them. Yeah, I'm liking the second one a little bit better, but I still want a little bit of different dimensionality to it. Just fill all that in real quick. There you go. Welcome, welcome to whoever's all kind of hopping in again. I think Hunter's still hanging around. Hope you all are safe and healthy. Thanks for coming to hang out for a little bit. I kind of want to add some spikies to it. Oh, that's what part of that's coming from. Well, then why don't we add some of these things? Some like different, like beads and hanging bits. Give it a more funky looking silhouette. There you go. This is what I'm kind of seeing right now, is all these little tendrils. But what we can do, instead of having them just be like the tendrils, or I guess they would be feet. I don't even know what those are supposed to do. But we can throw like beads on them, kind of repurpose them a little bit for our design. And then I'll go through and block some more of this out to clean it up so it's not so messy. Let me know how y'all are doing, how y'all are feeling. I was finally able to figure out how to get the stream working and get my iPad to look kind of more crisp in the window there. Kind of want this to be a little bit more menacing. Let's give it two big spikies off the top. A little more pointed. Yeah. What if we bring this down? Let that have a little more room to jut up and out above the back. Go. And we can go scroll through and find something a little more menacing than the ones that I have saved, because these guys are all pretty tame. But when you take a look at something like this guy, or this guy, let's open him up bigger. There we go. So then we can come back through and incorporate some more of these shapes. And like I said, we'll go for a little while. I have a bunch of different ideas that I kind of wanted to shake out and figure out. So I'll be on here for at least a couple different hours today. If you are hanging out in chat, you know, say what's up. I want to know how your day is going. I know Hunter said that they were doing some busy work today. I have a couple different projects that I should probably be working on myself. But I had the itch. I wanted to get started on having some more legitimate live streams for the artwork here on the page, and I guess for the channel. We're going to be uploading more to YouTube in the new year, so I kind of wanted to get this going, get it started. Also going to try and make sure that I don't tilt everything sideways on you guys too often. I'm sure that's not very pleasant to look at the image all cockeyed. I do move the piece around quite a lot. You know, some of the other people that I've watched, like Draw Live, tend to keep it more still, and I'll have to learn that for myself as well. But in my leisure, I do move it around a bit. more active and tactile with it than I think most are. If I'm going to be this close, I can probably tilt this down a little bit. There we go. There you go. I kind of like that. And then what we could do for the front, so there's like a front plate of armor here as well, is to throw a big shell up here. And then have the little legs fly off towards the back, like it would be going around, I guess, like the neck area. Let me scroll back through. Hey, it's funky looking. We'll use this shape. Look at that guy. But this guy's kind of beefy. Let's go with this guy. There you go. Something that, you know, a lot of artists are always told that it takes a while to kind of catch on is to use reference. There's a long time where I just super did not. Up until a little bit more recently, I was like, you know what? I might as well. It does wonders. Like having something from real life to look at, even if you don't use it one-to-one and you don't like copy it. Like just to have those shapes and those ideas there. You know, there's a lot to be said for the imagination, but what kind of gives it, I don't know, a certain amount of depth and believability is drawing it from something more real. And even though the guy that we're looking at doesn't necessarily have a bunch of spikies on him, we're going to add some anyway. Just to the back here. Like this pauldron over here as well. I like that. I don't want to overwork it. I'm not trying to go for like completely finished pieces. But we can go ahead and turn off this guy here, because I don't really want to take anything from him. So we'll just throw him to another layer and kind of leave him in the dust. And we'll leave this guy on the one that we're working on. We'll throw him over here. So we can even pull from what we had started earlier too. Like I think this guy has something going for him, so we'll use that sketch for something. And we'll blow him up, make him a little bit larger. We'll throw, let me pull up one of the people that I had some different like headdresses on for. I think like that might be kind of cool. Let's pull this up. Give this guy his little hood. And then what we can do, because I like that shape of having these two up to the side here. Whew. Put two little claws. I guess they'd be pretty large if they're bigger than his head, but little is relative. And I think a little bit of asymmetry would be kind of cool too. So there we go. We'll just try and copy one of these claws here. Might actually be a little too big. We cut it in half though. Ooh. See if we cut it in half and bring it down. Yeah, I like that. The neck. I have some of the worst posture. So in trying to do streams like this, I'm trying to keep it in check. It also helps with the green screen that keeps cutting some of my face off. There we go. That should help a little bit. And then we can have something a little more traditional, like a big wrap around the dome. Let's make them even bigger so we can get into some more of the details. There you go. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, but when I try and get into different, character designs for the project, I always want to make sure they're distinct, and I have a lot of like work done for the guild, and they all have like a pretty set like attire at this point. But for these guys specifically, I don't have I guess like a set attire in mind, because they kind of just cobble together what they can, um, from the different creatures that they find and the different shipwrecks and stuff like that. So there's no like one person making all of their clothing. They're all kind of figuring it out as they go. Which for me is a lot of fun, because then that way I can do a bunch of different designs and kind of find what I think is going to look the coolest for like what I'll feature on the page itself. Of course, these guys are going to be showing up in January when we kind of kick back into where Aaron is. I didn't really feel like role playing through his whole walk. I just kind of wanted to cut to the chase and get us to where we have to be and start beating the people. I don't think anybody kind of wants to hang out and have 14 decisions that are all, do we continue going? Yeah, of course we're going to continue going. So that kind of stuff just wasn't super necessary, at least in my opinion, to role play out every second of for the project. This guy's got a little bit of a small head. We can probably make his head a little bit bigger. His head's still a little small, but we'll just cheat a little bit. And then I like the idea of having him. I like the idea of having him be super armored up. So let's find something. No, none of those guys. You gotta be careful. I didn't even think about it. There might be some some nudity on some of the different things I might click on, so let's try and keep it to the animals. This guy's kind of bulky. Ooh, I like this guy. I think these are called coconut crabs. These are fucking awful to look at, but they are also very cool to look at. So we'll use their kind of some of their shapes as some inspiration. I like this like piece, how it kind of flows. There we go. And then we can have some of the shapes kind of curl a little further up. I don't know that this guy's going to be doing a lot of moving around because his headpiece is so large. I wonder if we chop it up a little bit, or even if we just get rid of this. We'll just move this off to the side for now to make him a little more agile. I think that's a more elegant look anyway. And we can just give a couple different spikies up top. Yeah, I think it's a more elegant shape than having the big claw just sticking out of the top. And we'll go back to his chest piece a little bit. I have a couple people that are hanging out. You know, I appreciate you hanging out in the quiet. That's cool. Yeah, this is a picture that a lot of people see. I don't like. This makes him look scary. I think it's because it's pale that it looks kind of spooky. It's too close to like a flesh color. But let's get rid of some of these extras. How big this crab is. Okay. And they also have, looks like lungs. I think it's probably what adds to how weird they look is that they're not super like geometric. They have a lot of really organic, like human organy looking body parts, and that probably adds a lot to it. So we'll give this guy a little bit of a pose. That way there's something to aim for in terms of where this stuff goes. He's not just T-posing. This one's here. I wouldn't even know where to go for the bottom half. I think a pretty obvious one, I guess, would be to give like some knee pads that kind of look like so. I don't know if that's where his knees would necessarily be, though. I guess we can kind of sketch that out real quick. I do not claim to be expertly familiar with human anatomy, but I do my best guesstimation. And I guess we can even give him a little bit of armor up on his thigh here. Ooh, some of these crabs, do all crabs have? I guess some of them do, yeah? Have like these antenna. This guy kind of does, that flings off. Maybe add those to the top. Yeah, I think that's a cool look. Yeah, we've taken a bunch from this dude. Why don't we find something that's not the coconut crab? We can even pull up something like this guy. I had him pulled up a little bit earlier. Something that we can maybe take more use of is like the beads that I was putting on this guy. So let's try adding a little bit more like rope and stringy bits. We can also better define some of the stuff that we have going on right now. It's a little bit chaotic. And we can add two. We can have legs that come out this way and out this way. And then another set directly beneath. And I think even if we just left it, if we just left some skin showing, maybe his belly button's around here. And then we can kind of follow suit with the guy that we're looking at and throw a couple of these kind of go. And we can open up a little bit of room instead of having like the big blocky armor shapes around the the waist and the legs. We can open it up a little bit more so that they're a little more mobile, agile. I guess we can technically do the same thing up around the shoulders if we open that up a little bit. If we cut this kind of like so. and give him more mobile shoulders. Oh. And then relatively soon we can kind of leave this guy where he's at, take what we've learned, and move on to another one. Actually, I'll go ahead and do that now because I'm feeling done with this dude. So we'll take him, scale him down a little bit so he's out of the way. We'll pull something else that we were working on earlier. Ooh, we'll pull this guy with the broader hat. Make him really big, bigger. And we'll go through and we'll find something that we can use, like so. I'll plop his head down in the bottom here. He is all kind of tucked up in there. I can probably get rid of this. I appreciate whoever's coming to hang out. Again, if you are hanging out, say what's up. We're working on some concepts for what Aaron's going to be doing over the next month or so. I never know how long we're going to be in a specific area, but we'll be encountering the claw before too long. Like when we come back, it'll be January 4th for Aaron, when Aaron kind of makes his return, and we're just gonna jump right back into having like be in the middle of the adventure rather than wait a whole long time to do what we want to do. Let me see what else we can find for some inspiration. There you go, something like so. Sometimes I think I want to add a little bit more to these designs, is stuff that kind of hangs. Something like that. Just kind of add a little bit of extra bits to the silhouette. Well, thank you, man. I'm enjoying working on them. You know, these streams aren't going to be big, bombastic, like super high energy. I'm just here to kind of chill out and put some stuff together. You know, and as always, I'm always open to, you know, suggestions or ideas for how we can improve the designs and whatever else. But I'm just kind of here to hang out for a few hours with whoever decides to run through. I appreciate you doing so. I think these guys are gonna look really cool, like in the project. They're gonna, you know, be a different look that we really haven't had for a while, which will be nice. I think an idea I want to write down is shell mail armor. I'm not a big fan of that one, but we'll take this guy and we'll duplicate him, move him on over. And then we'll see what else we can get out of him. So like if we strip back some of this stuff here and maybe go for a more pointed headpiece. I gotta do a little bit more digging for this board specifically, so I have more crabs to kind of dig through. at least that are readily available. This guy. Or this guy. Or this guy. Can do something like that. Something that's a little more wide at the bottom. Maybe it kind of bends in. Maybe it should be a little more pointed. Something kind of like that. And then what we can do is make sure that it has maybe if we angle these a little bit, make these a little sharper. Okay. And then we can go through, now that we have like this little collection, let me find another shell design that kind of catches my eye a little bit better. Something a little bit more extra. What is this? It's a dung beetle. Oh, we'll use them. It's not a crustacean, but that's a pretty cool looking dome piece he's got going on. I like the idea of these things coming way back. More of a squat dome instead of it being so vertical. He also has another piece that kind of comes out, at least from this specific photo. It kind of comes up from the back. Well, I guess we would flip that, right? These would. And then what we can do is kind of section it a little bit so it's a little more like crab and shell-like. There we go. And with this guy, we'll change up his armor a little bit as well, kind of match. And give him like another set of these big old horns that kind of stick out. There we go. We can probably fit another guy. Not quite. Keep it at 3. Well, if anything, we'll move them all over. So a little more centered. And we'll start back with the first guy in. Give ourselves some room vertically. We don't want to be looking at bugs though. These guys are buggy. Look at this guy. Now let's work with something kind of like that. What is that? It doesn't even say. It's an arthropod of some sort. See if we can't give him a big old shoulder piece similar. I can go ahead and move this over a little bit so it's more on the shoulder. because it's so big, maybe we can give it a bunch of straps and stringy bits to hold itself onto our little dude. And we want to change his dome up a little bit. Oh, what is this thing? I don't know, but we're going to use it. As I go, maybe every time I... No, not bugs. Oh. Do something maybe like this. I don't know if I'm feeling. Kind of like this little set that we have right now. Hey, puppy. We'll throw a fourth one in there, or I guess a fifth one at this point. I like this guy, so let's take him. See if we can't find some more stuff to throw on top of them. Like, I like how spiky this guy is. Let's find. Ooh, look at this. Look at this dude. Or this guy. No, that's not what I wanted. Here it is. Let's take some of this guy in. Incorporate some of his spikier shapes. And then, the purpose of going through and having so many of these different little ideas kind of splayed out, when I go to draw the panels and the artwork that's going to go on to the adventure, it gives me a lot to choose from, and I can pick the ones that I think will suit what we're trying to accomplish best. I also get a lot of my shitty or bad ideas out of the way early. I don't have to worry about it so much, and there's not a lot of guesswork. If I find a design that I like early, I can, stick with that for when we go to do stuff for the actual page. Yeah. I got my puppy sitting down next to me now. She was sleeping. And because this guy has a bit of a rounder dome again, we'll... We'll go through and give him some more rounded armor. There you go. See, this guy didn't take too much work. Sometimes the shapes just kind of fall right into place. You don't have to mess around with them too much. We'll do one final one, and we'll move on to trying to find maybe another kind of concept to kind of focus on. Merge them all down into one big layer real quick. We can give this last guy a more drastic overhaul. There we go. Move all this over a little bit, recenter it. Something like that. I can say that we're kind of done with these 6 or so, but I do like the the idea of them wearing like the shells kind of like stacked, sort of like chainmail. Kind of like so. Get rid of that guy, get rid of that guy, get rid of that guy. Then we can do one final one with one of these dudes kind of riding one of the larger crabs, I guess. Right.